Thank you so much for being here. Today we're going to talk with Christi with the handle Bell's Palsy Can Suck It, which we all know. And we're going to talk about self-care, which is one of my favorite things to talk about. So let's get her on. She's here right now. I'm going to invite her. There we go. Hey, Christi, how are you?
Hey, good. How are you?
Great. I'm glad that we finally got connected.
Me too. Thank you so much.
For those watching, we quite often I have chats with followers and people that I meet online, kind of in DM and Messenger, and it's just really exciting to finally get to meet people and hook up on a time that works. How's your day today?
Oh my gosh, it's been great. It's been great. I've been looking forward to this all day, so
Yeah,
thank you so much.
nice to have people who understand. Hey, and I was talking to Paige the other day that the things that we're allowed to joke about and things like
Of
that.
course.
People can't say it, but we can.
hmm
So why don't you tell people watching a little bit about yourself?
Yeah, sure. So, I've been the eternal optimist my entire life, right? So I'm always one of those people that just loves to laugh and to smile and, had crow's feet at a very young age from laughing too much, which is great. So, so when something like this happens, right, you kind of have to take a step back and really take that opportunity to figure out why. Why is it happening? And I always believe that things happen to us for a reason, right? Um, and for me, I'm on day 15, right? So for me, it's really been that opportunity of stepping back and saying, gosh, really have to do a better job of taking care of myself. I take care of the entire world,
Yeah.
right? Yes, everybody. And it's really been an eye-opening experience for me. So, that ability just to stay calm in it, to accept it for what it is, and to really breathe through it and find out what can we do, right? How do we keep a positive attitude and keep a smile? Even though it may not look the same, how do we still go through life and say, you know what? It's okay to be happy. It's okay to smile, and it's okay to work through this. So,
And try. Some days
oh
easier than
yeah,
you know. And I love how you say it in one of your posts. Like, I literally have written a blog post that says exactly the same thing. I say all the things to all the people. Perfect mom, perfect wife, perfect housekeeper, perfect
hmm
hostess. And we can't do that. Like,
yeah,
it's not sustainable. And when we're young, we think we're invincible. I shouldn't say young, it's at any age. We think we're invincible and that nothing's going to happen to us. So I do agree. I have had some followers kind of challenge the, what happens for a reason
hmm
thing. And of course, that's just my opinion. And you share the same opinion, of course, that everybody has their different views on it. Now myself, I'm sure that you probably did the same thing, right? You Googled the meaning. Why is this happening to me? And I do speak quite a bit about it. Louise Hay saying your mouth is paralyzed. You are not using your voice. You are not being heard. And what resonated with me in my life at the time was I wasn't speaking up for myself. I, wasn't saying my opinion. I didn't even know if I had an opinion, quite honestly, on things. Like, I just went and did things that other people kind of wanted to do. So that really hit me. And since then, for myself, you're newly onset. I've been now, it's 6.5 years.
yeah,
And so I took that message and have really thrown myself into trying to figure out how to learn that lesson. And some days, like we said, is easier than others. And that part doesn't go away. I think that's life in general.
hmm
Oh, I know it's life in general. But yeah, that's what I've really thrown myself into. And I know that you're doing the same thing. So does that resonate with you? Like, how do you feel about that? Like, using your voice or speaking up for yourself are
yeah.
you a people pleaser, or does that resonate with you?
Oh, for sure. Yeah, it does. And that was one of the big aha moments for me too, right? Because, quite literally leading up to this, there had been several things that I needed to say and I needed to get off my chest. And I was incredibly scared and nervous to do that. And I tell you what, since this has happened, I'm not afraid anymore. right? I just get it out. And it is incredibly encouraging to me to actually see the positive reaction coming from what I was so afraid of, as opposed to it being the negative, right?
So
So
our brain messes with us.
yeah, it does.
It,
Yeah. And it is an incredible lesson for all of us, regardless of whether you are going through Bell's palsy now, have had it, know someone that's had it, or you're just curious about it. The biggest lesson that we can all learn is to be our own advocates and to really stand up and be true to who we are. And if you don't know what your opinion is, right, or if you have an opinion, it's okay to step back and reflect upon that and decide where you are, right, and where you stand, and be solid in that. That's okay, right? We're allowed to do that, and we should feel good about doing that. So yeah, definitely been a big lesson for me, for sure.
what I kind of found myself doing on that topic in the past was, so I have a decision to make,
Mm-hmm.
whatever it is. And I was finding myself using, like, dressing it up as research. So I was going around, oh, what do you think about this? What do you think about this? What's your experience with this? And a lot of the time that just clouds, I feel like I'm learning that it just kind of clouds your actual gut and your actual judgment.
Mm-hmm.
And, I explain it to, my kids, is that, okay, well, what restaurant do you want to go to? Okay, well, I feel like sushi. You're like, obviously, if you listen to your instincts, I feel like sushi. Well, you're like, oh, I heard about that. Sushi restaurant's not good. Oh, well, hamburgers are better. Oh, well, we should not eat fish or whatever. And then you're like, oh, yeah, yeah. So sometimes, quite often to me now, I'll sit down and just try to make a decision. Because quite often, a lot of the times, you can go either way. The analogy of the squirrel in the middle of the road. If you stay in the middle of the road, you're going to get run over. That side is going to have up and downs. This side of the road is going to have up and downs. You just got to pick one way. And like you're saying, just stand up, commit to that. Not like you can't say later that you were wrong, but that's what I've been kind of trying to do, is just try sticking up for yourself.
Yeah.
That's, see how that goes.
You have to. Yeah, it's okay. It's okay to make a decision. And you know what? It's okay if it's the wrong decision.
Yeah.
Right? We got to try things, and that's how we learn, and that's how we grow, and that's how we, kind of move and shift a little bit. And that's okay. That's part of life. That's the growing experience. And that's what makes us better in the end. We don't know until we try.
Making perfect decisions all the time. I always the parenting part too, like,
oh gosh,
kids. Yeah. So the parenting, honestly, there is no right answer. There literally is no right answer. So we sit there and be like, oh my God, what's my opinion on this? If you have a partner or a co-parent, you're like, oh my God, what's my opinion? Oh my God, I gotta, like, there's no right answer. It's
right.
not like a math class where you can look at the back of the textbook and like, there isn't. So it's like, just give them a shot. And if it doesn't work, like, just try our best and trust your gut, and, do it with a positive. Obviously, there's certain things that aren't going to work, but do that. So that's where I struggle a lot, and I always have. What kinds of things have you learned or are new to you, maybe in the last couple weeks, about self-care? Because
gosh,
someone first asked me, I was like, I don't know, like, I get a pedicure sometimes, like, I don't even know what self-care was.
Yeah, absolutely. And it's a hard one, right? Because self-care is it's one of those newer terms, right? That we talk about, kind of globally.
Whatever.
Yeah, it's a good catchphrase. For me, my aha moment of, okay, I need to step back and actually take care of myself was just a couple of days ago. I had logged on to my email and saw there were 190 emails first thing in the morning. And I cried. And I've been trying so hard to not take off work, not listen to the doctors. And then the doctor called shortly thereafter while I was in the midst of, an absolute just crying fit, trying to figure out how I was going to handle all this. And he calls and says, okay, you need to take time off, right? You've got to heal and take care of yourself. And for me, that was a really big aha moment. So I've been trying to figure out, what am I going to do at that time? What is my self-care routine going to be? And I tell you what, it's going to be a lot of journaling, a lot of meditating, going on nice quiet walks. I've got a beautiful little pond in the neighborhood, so I'm going to go walk around the pond And just those quiet moments where I can stop the thoughts, be with myself, be with, the earth and the universe, and really be able to breathe and be open and receptive again to what my path should be, right? What my goals should be based on where I'm being led, right? And that's a big thing for me because I got disconnected from that. And I do usually use my instinct. And my instincts have been very clouded. So self-care for me is being able to calm myself enough to open myself up to what the universe is trying to tell me and allow myself to trust in that path and follow that path.
Yeah. And I found, I speak of it like our instincts or our voice or the universe or whatever, we want to call it, or God or spirit, whatever anybody calls it, it's all the same. Will quite often though not be the answer that we want to hear. So to me, the voice being like, you need to drink less wine, you need to eat healthy, you need to get to the gym. Like, I don't want to hear that. I know, we all do it. I mean, to me, obviously being healthy, that is included it. But to me, the universe, the message is so strong. And the reason is because I'm not myself. So I'm not myself. I can't take myself to the next level. I can't speak. I can't feel okay. With the Bell's palsy, my face is tired, blah, 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 all those things. So it's a different kind of message for me. Like I can't step up, held back by all these things. And, what was happening for me, obviously COVID made it worse, but what's been happening to me in the last couple of years, I've literally been hiding. Like I've been hiding inside. I can feel myself hiding. Yeah. And the universe telling me like, it's okay. Like when you're ready. But we don't want to hear that stuff. And so, even though we're adults, we sit there and be like, well, I don't feel like doing that. Right? What I find myself doing. And wow, I start getting back onto my regular routine. I feel great. My husband's like, oh, great, like big shocker, But so that's just an easy kind of example is what I find is when I sit with the universe, like you got to be ready for an answer that you necessarily want to hear. The path that you don't really think you want.
Right. Yeah. And finding that trust in it, right? And being okay and accepting that this isn't what I want to hear, but you know what? I'm being led this way for a reason, so let's give it a shot, right? Yeah. What do I have to lose?
And exactly, and you have nothing to lose unless, and even, a couple girlfriends, like your marriage or your life or your job or anything, like you have a choice.
Yeah.
And what the right answer is, even if it's scary, like your job, like, yes, you have to find a new job. Yes, it's going to be new. Yes, you're not going to know what you're doing, quite at first. It's scary to be new. And really, I think it's even scarier now that we're adults. We're not being new at something and we don't have to, but then you just keep on going on the same path. And that's okay.
Yeah.
That's okay to stay in your comfort zone if that's what you're ready to do. But nobody knows yourself better than yourself inside. And you know yourself enough to listen. I 100% agree. And to listen to our body when you're in a clear zone. I mean, obviously, my body craving an entire bag of gummy candy probably probably go the opposite way, right? But to listen to our true body, and that's what you're saying, when you get clear,
right.
That's our body. Get clear, get grounded, be around people who make you feel like yourself. You don't feel like you have to put on a fake face. And I think us moving on in our life, I speak to younger people all the time, like, if you feel like you have to put on a show, do not go there. Like,
right.
Do not hang around with those people, sometimes, but I mean, yes, of course, in life we have to, if there's somebody in your office or in your class, that's okay. There's a big difference between investing that energy and just being there and being polite or in your close circle of friends, but just to protect your energy. That to me is what I'm learning for self-care.
Yeah.
Is to protect my energy inside, not give it to, not getting things back from.
Yes. And I love that point too, right? There is such a difference in being present in the moment and being there and experiencing what's happening around you versus being all in that moment. And we all have a choice, right? When we walk into that situation, how much are we willing to give of our spirit and our soul, right? And allowing people to come into, really the most intimate parts of our spirit. We've got that choice when we go into those situations. And I think oftentimes for people, that's a hard delineation, right? They're either all in or they're all out. There is that middle ground.
My personality is very, I'm a Gemini. I throw
me too.
A big surprise. That's what I'm reading your post and I love it because I'm like, I literally said that. And that's what I honestly would like to, and I would love to have you on a regular basis because I want to turn the Bell's Palsy talk into, yes, but of course, Bell's Palsy, but then also advocates for self-care, because even for the lucky ones who do recover 100%, or, myself, I have 85%. I consider myself lucky, more on some days than others, but I think we can advocate for self-care, teach about self-care and what to do and the lessons that we learned even moving forward. But speaking to your point about that is, the quote, I won't get it right exactly, but like allowing someone to have real estate in your mind.
Yes.
So you would never let someone live in your house, well, maybe you would for free, or, mess up your house and throw crap around and make you feel like shit in your own house. We let people do that in our head. And like we were saying before, the fascination to, like you were saying, struggling, having those hard conversations and then actually getting a different result at the end.
Yeah.
90% of it is we are making it up.
Yep, absolutely.
Like there's lots of people in my life where I'm sitting there like, oh, they're mad at me. Oh, like, oh, that's a weird tone. Like, oh, I'm 41 years old, for God's sake. I literally did nothing. I haven't talked to that person in two weeks. Why would they be mad at me? Like, why? So that kind of difference between, like, are we being real? And I think that that's a big thing for myself for self-care too, to just like stop and be like, Barbie, there is no reason for them not to like you or to be mad at you, or to not text you back. That stuff is freaking exhausting. It exhausts us. And you and I and Bell's Palsy, people who have it, stuff like that has exhausted us to the point that the universe paralyzed our face to be like, hey, let's pay attention.
Yeah, let's stop that now.
Literally. And that's what, I'm hoping to share. Those are the kind of that are self-care. It's
Absolutely.
Getting care of, yes, of course, doing the things that make you feel good and, getting the manicure and pedicure and honoring yourself that way. Those are the surface self-care,
Yeah, they are. Yeah. And it goes so much beyond that, right? Because it's part of self-care is that ability to have true self-confidence, right? So in that example of, why didn't somebody text me back? Are they mad at me? There's a self-esteem element that goes with that, to know with conviction that you did nothing wrong, and that's on them, right? They own that. It has nothing to do with you. And getting comfortable with that is such an important part of self-care, because it's self-preservation, right? And it allows us to be true to ourselves, happy with ourselves, and be able to allow others to own their own stuff too, right? We can own ours all day long, and we do that. We need them to own theirs too, and allow them to do that and give them that space.
And
good point.
And my mom in like grade 9, when I was in grade 9, and she still says it to me now. I mean, really close to my mom. And like, she'll be like, Barbie, you're not important enough. You're not important for them to use up their time to be mad when you've done nothing wrong. And that really helps me too. And of course, this is my mom. She doesn't mean that I'm not important. Our minds so much on whether they got their own crap going on at any age. Like, people are so like, I have a friend, we always tease her about it. She never texts anybody back. Well, she's got a lot of stuff going on in her, we're very close. So she, shares with me, she lost her mom last year. She got people have their own stuff going on. So we sit there and we're so focused on ourselves, Yes, we're good friends and stuff, but I don't know. I think that really resonates with me too. When my mom, like, hey, like,
Yeah, for sure. I love that.
or like bring it up, I
Hmm.
do with her, and that makes me feel better because she's just like, it's not you, buddy. Like, I'm so sorry, I'm overwhelmed. Like, and that's okay.
Yeah.
She knows that I have that complex. She's got that complex, and that's really liberating. That's self-care too.
Yes.
And so sometimes just not caring, trying not to care, trying to, whatever.
Hmm.
Not easy.
Very true.
Very true. But anyways, thank you so much for joining.
You're welcome. Thank you.
I wish you all the best on your journey. You're obviously, staying positive, trying your best. That's all we can do. Try our best in life, honor ourselves, try our best for ourselves. We're our own, got to have your own back.
Yeah. We're our own advocates.
100%. And that's what, we'll continue to talk about self-care. Let's meet again in a couple weeks.
Yeah,
and,
that'd be great.
we can take questions from followers maybe next time about, ideas for self-care. Because I do know when I started on the self-care kind of journey that I'm still on is you're like, okay, cool. I understand. I was like, I said I have a spiritual coach. Like I'm on board. Completely understand that I need to take care of myself.
Mm-hmm. How do I do that?
Yeah. What's the first thing? So I think that like maybe that could be a theme of our next talk.
Yeah, that would be fantastic.
That would be great. So thank you so much. Have a wonderful rest of your day. Get some journaling in, maybe walk around that pond.
Yes, thank you so much. I appreciate it. We'll talk soon. Bye.
Anytime.